What's up, guys? This is Kill with a video about a new extraction game. We're going to talk about a couple extraction games, but this video is going to center around um, Expedition Into the Darkness. Now, if anybody has ever heard of this game, congratulations. You are the among of 100 people that have know about this game. know there's a lot more. I'm just kidding. But I don't know. I want to start off with this saying I don't know what this game is trying to gear towards, like who's their demographic audience and who's their consumer. Because when I'm going to go down the list of what this game is about, you're going to easily think of a lot of other games that are doing it a little bit easier and a little bit more fun, I guess you could say. But I digress. So this game is a strictly PvE. You bring in bring in a group of five, and you're supposed to basically extract. You go in like you see my characters doing, you loot up, and you loot various things. There's going to be a boss that randomly spawns somewhere. Now, it's either going to be like a giant dog thing, or is it going to be a giant ogre thing? And there's another thing it could be, I forgot, but they're all got the similar mechanics aside from the dog spits acid, but they all have very similar mechanics. And this is very early access. I mean, as you can tell, my character's holding the sword and his hand is literally bent around. Whenever I'm blocking, my hand goes like into a pretzel. So it's a very early access game. It is nowhere near finished. It needs to be polished. It needs to be optimized a little bit better. It's got a lot of issues as far as like the game wise goes, but that's just to be expected, right? That I'm not holding them against it. That just, and they say it in the beginning, so they know this is very early access. See, as you can tell, my hand bends. It's funny. Um, the game is basically you go in, you fight the bosses as a group, and it's supposed to be very strategic. From what I understand, the blocking system isn't fleshed out very well, so I can't really critique on that. All I can tell you is what to be expected. And what to be expected is that you're going to have a chaotic time. It's fun. It's a little crazy at times. It doesn't make any sense most of the time, but it does. It is what it is. There's a stamina bar that works fairly well, I guess. They need to tweak up a lot of the systems. I guess going into the systems would be kind of a waste of time. Just knowing the narrative of the game, I guess, is what people want to know, right? So the narrative of the game is that you go in, you find bits and pieces of loot to which you can build your own weapons and your perfect little armor set. And I mean, it's pretty much PUBG without the PvP, and it's medieval. You go in, you find gear that you want to create, or unless you're doing quests, like you saw me, I picked up a giant box that was a quest item that I needed. Um, there's backpacks in this game that require you to get more loot. That they allow you to get more loot. The characters itself, there's no classes, but there are armor sets and gear towards different classes. Like I'm holding a giant sword. I know that's gonna cleave uh 3 or 4 people. If I was using a one-handed weapon, I can only hit 1 or 2 people at a time, and then I can only stagger one person. So I get overwhelmed very easily. This game feels more like a roguelike, like it was supposed to be like a roguelike than an extraction game, but it is an extraction game, except the only extraction points that we found were the entrances that we came from. So I don't know if they're gonna plan on putting an actual extraction or if there is one and we just didn't find it. I mean, we traveled everywhere on this map. There's only one map. It's the catacombs. But we traveled everywhere on this map and we could not find at all. It was 4 of us and we could not find another extraction besides the entrances. There's multiple entrances that you can go. So I'm guessing you have to go back to the entrances to extract. I'm guessing that's the case. I don't know. Yeah, there's debris, there's things that fall on you, traps. Same things that you would expect from Dark and Darker. The only thing that, like I said, doesn't make sense is that if this is geared towards D&D players, like there's so many other D&D games out there that do it better for role playing spec. So this isn't for role playing. This is like a party game for your friends. I don't know what this is, who they're trying to sell this to. I do not know. Maybe a bunch of old people that want to play a hardcore D&D game, but I don't know why you would do that in this. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the positives of this, of making this game, but I don't see who this is gearing towards and why this is gearing towards those particular people. Maybe it's fleshed out in their Discord, but I tried looking through it and there is just nothing but D&D talk. It doesn't make any sense to me. As you can tell, here's the waves. The waves have just spawned. And it gets crazy because you get overwhelmed very easily. You can't just block, right? I feel like I get overwhelmed so fast. But the game, I like that. I like the fact that the game does that. The mage, there's a bombardier. There's a guy that throws bombs and stuff in the background. It's pretty funny. And then I just get tossed around. I get fucked, bro. But the game is fun and what it is for what it is. If you were expecting to go in, gear up, go in, fight a boss, I'm guessing when the game comes out, there's going to be like dragons and all kinds of cool stuff you can slay. That part I can get, like a slaying, dungeon crawling extraction game. That's probably what they're gearing towards. I'm going to try it out and release either way. It was fun to get in and to play around with it. My mods had a little bit more fun than I did with it because they just kept on dying and put me into death's way as well. My girlfriend found it very fun because this gears towards her, but she said the same thing. She only plays PvE extraction games, right? So how many PvE extraction games are there? Not very many. But how many dungeon crawlers? There's one. And Dark and Darker, I feel like does it better for the casual extraction games. So that's why I'm kind of curious on who they're trying to like gear this towards. But aside from that, it's a very good game. I think it is definitely worth a play. The direction they're going seems very fun, seems very interesting. Magic in this game is very limited. You have to find shrines, from what I understand, or like gods' shrines or something, and ask them to give you magic. We did not find any. I don't know if it's in the game or not, but it is going to be implemented soon. Bandages, potions, things like that. Bandages obviously heal you slower, but more efficiently. Potions heal, or it takes a casting times longer. Potions have a less casting time, and it heals you more, but heals you for a little bit. Like it's more convenient. Potions are more convenient. Bandages are for basically short term. They blew up a barrel, and this is what's going on. This is what happens when you're on fire too. I don't know. The game seems pretty cool. I'm gonna give it a go. As far as an extraction game goes, I don't see the point of it making a hardcore D&D extraction game when there's so many on the market that are doing the same thing, except it's not extraction. But still, I don't know. I might have to dig a little bit deeper into it. But that's this video. That's Expedition into the Darkness. Not very much to go off of. It's very bare bones right now. It's very early access. The developers are very passionate. They want to make a game. They're doing everything right, and they're very literal when it comes down to it. Very literal. This is a very literal game. Like you bring in you like to build axes, you build like armor and stuff like that, and it's pretty crazy intricate. So I can imagine when the game comes out, making your armor and making your equipment is probably going to be the highlight of this game. So make sure you get a backpack. Make sure you bring a lot of heals if you're going to play this game. It is not in early access anymore, or it's not in beta anymore, but I think they're going to open up another beta whenever they have a second level and they want to finish up the combat mechanics that they're working out. So I believe in like a couple months, I would say like February or March, look out for this game to be in another beta form, and that one's going to be a little bit easier to make a video on because I think that's going to be like the technical and the system implementations. So I think that's going to be a little bit more content to talk about. So far, bare bones, interesting D&D hardcore survival extraction game. I'm gonna make a video about Engine Fall and tell you about that. That's a whole, that's like another part of the spectrum. This is PvE, hardcore PvE, and Engine Fall is like hardcore PvP. So it's like very two ends of the spectrums, and they're both testing the weekend that I was doing this. So all right, GG's everyone. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Appreciate it.